peeps? We're here today. I'm here to tell you what's the scenario. So here we go, yo. We got some friggin' we got a power line running through this job. I mean, like a 2 foot off the top of the skidder. The skidder is parked under the power line right now. The power line ran up this house where you see me cut the PIP video the other day where nobody watched or liked it. I'm sorry if everybody didn't like the PIP video. It's a new technology, I'm just learning it. PIP stands for picture in picture, those of you that does not know. I've always been obsessed with it and always wanted to figure it out to make it useful in longer weight videos. But it sucks really hard to work with it. So what we're cutting here is ash. Bugs are coming, bugs are getting, sort of deal. Now, on a push tree, did you see how I just stuck the bar in below the notch? We call it a step-down back cut. And when you're pushing trees, a step-down back cut can be very handy because it locks in the way you think about the geometry of the way a tree stands that has back lean. You put a machine against it and you step down the back cut. As that top pulls away out in the open against the machine, it locks it into the stump to where it has to rise to come up out of the stump and fall over backwards. We use that quite a bit for safety, for added safety. Now, this tree is an awkward, weird shaped thing, and you'll catch a glimpse. Keep your eyes peeled up above it. Here we're going to the pit. See the, in the bottom left pit, see the power pole in there? So here's the situation. It's really tight, and I'm afraid for blowback coming and actually hitting the power line, which is right above the grapple skidder cab. Which you can't see it in a skidder cab shot. It might be more than 2 feet above it in the area I'm in, but it ain't much. I mean, the buncher, I thought I was going to hit with the buncher the other day a couple times when I was cutting around. So anyways, here I did. I stood the tree up to where it's leaning away, but here's a peculiar situation we find ourselves in. That the way that tree is, it wants to slide up underneath the back of the skidder if I cut it free. And I need to cut a little bit of it so it ain't pulling fibers so bad. And it busts loose easy. Catch it, Glenn. I don't know if you can catch it. There it is. It's starting to go. And I am pulling some fibers out of the center of the heart, but right now at this point with what I got at stake, I don't really care all that much. And I clipped some of it free, but my big concern is that power line. And it's hard to see in the video. It's hard to see it getting. Here we're going to pull it down. We'll watch the pip edges. We'll pip this baby out. See the blowback back towards the skidder? Of course, I had 20 feet before that got to the power line, but that's an uncontrolled 20 feet. You know, it makes you kind of nervous when you're messing with it. First one's down, so I'm gonna. I don't know where the power line. Yeah, I see the power line in the first top left pit. You've seen a little bit of the power line up there. There it is right there. You've seen it in the hard hat view. See it brought above the skidder over.
There you are, Jackson.
I guess it is higher than 2 feet above the skidder, but it feels like it's close. It all felt claustrophobic to me over there working in this tight little spot. And dropping, and you see the direction we're dropping these ash trees, and the way they school them together, where there's a double stump. So they're leaning off to the side, which makes them a little awkward on the push side. Now let's see if I get my bar down. I'm sure I stepped down the back cut, but not much if I did. And the saw does run a little rich. If you're seeing a little smoke come out of her, she is running a little bit on the rich side. Which might be just our mixing. We run that Amsoil Sabre. I think the world of that Amsoil Sabre. But you don't have to mix it rich, and we might be mixing a little rich for what it's supposed to be. Because it's actually, that Amsoil Sabre actually is synthetic. Which you can tell on a chainsaw. When you're sitting above that motor, you can tell the heat is less off that saw with the synthetic oil in it. Alright, so you're going to get a little tight in here. The lean of the tree is to the right. So I'm going to finish up on the left side of the tree with the saw. And bring her on around, letting the skidder be my release tab. There it is. I don't know. I just never really stopped very much and checked out the power line. But I'm putting my saw, the reason I'm putting the saw in the skidder is because I know it's the safe place I figured it'd be in the skidder. Which, if I screw up and knock the power line down on top of myself, that ain't a safe place for me to be either. You know. See the bottom right pip? I just drove past the power line pole. Now this tree is a very weird tree. It's a triple stump ash. The triple stump is raised above high enough to where I won't try to follow it as a single tree, which is taking a chance on anything busting loose, you know, because where the double hearts come together. You know, I'm putting a lot of credit on them locking together. It's not a super duper deal like I'm really laying on the drama thick. I'm just saying it is something you want to be right on because you want to make daggone sure. And look at that, leaning towards that power off. So the power lines are on the left of the screen there. Look at them leaning towards it. And you got a triple stump tree. Look at this baby. Look at that thing. And that's our bush honeysuckle trying to get it out of the way.
Jackson!
That son of a bucking junk.
Jackson!
Evasive. It's a daggone invasive species, that bush honeysuckle is. This old boy, he's got rich ground. It's all over the place in his place. Look at that thing. Would you look at that limb hanging out? Now I'm using that front limb to counterbalance the back limb some and make the push not so hard, because you don't want to tie into a hard push or you'll crack that heart loose. Where the double heart comes together. So I'm using one side of this thing, and I've cut some other limbs off. You can see some been knocked off there. One's laying on the ground there in front of the saw. But you can tell how I'm using one side of this tree to help with the balance out the other side. And you know, this is based off experience and the type of wood I'm cutting and stuff. You're going off it to where you're assuming you know what's going to hold together. You know, it's kind of a risky business deal. This tree here is. Big Daddy wasn't happy about me cutting these. Well, don't cut that one tree. I'm like, well, just cut it down, and when I'm done, you'll never know. Ain't got to know we cut it till it's done. Look at that son of a buck. Now, if I had to push, there is enough strength in that skidder. If I had to do a hard push, that I would have cracked them open. But I kept it down to where I didn't have to do such a hard push. That helped out a bunch. I'm checking my gap, make sure she ain't got more back lean than I'm expecting. And I was checking for making sure, it wasn't trying to, there's a nasty looking doodad there. So I'll shut up here and push it. This is about the end of the video. Thanks everybody. Have a good one. Later on.